have a mediated conversation on fly-by-night union. Yeah? Union.
Oh, fly-by-night unions, you say?
Yes, that are scheming.
That's a good idea, actually.
With workers. You must have that, Stephen, and have the Department of Labor involved. Let me touch on this, Duncan. Even if Duncan was correct, you don't do that, Stephen. You don't go to the public eye and company's name into disrepute. In fact, that on its own is a dismissible offense. So I'm actually happy that the HR personnel came to the station and explained it thoroughly, calmly, and with respect. She's very professional, this lady. But Duncan, he'll suffer the consequences. Honestly, you don't do that. You don't put the company's name into disrepute. Also, Duncan shop short. He should have known better. There are internal processes to follow. Thank you.
Bad job. Thank you. On the line from Tony. Good idea for a mediated. Thank you. Les on the line from Gauteng. Hi.
Hi, Stephen. Sorry, I caught the discussions in the middle, but I believe that Duncan is an employee of Sosa Pumps. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a former employee of that company.
Oh.
Yes. And I listened to the HR speaking, and I figured that he was complaining about racism and discrimination, unfair discrimination. Actually, I agree with him 100%.
Wow.
I left that company many years ago simply because that company was infiltrated with Africans, white, male, where you are a female, especially black, upcoming, you are mistreated. You always be reminded that we have allowed you to join this company. So I sympathize with that HR lady, because all what she does is that she's just doing what she has to do to protect her income at the end of the month, like all of us, which is the reason why we go to work. So, why Duncan did that, Stephen, is that you reach a stage where you feel that you are crying, nobody is hearing you internally. It's just like when you are in a home. You are crying in a home, nobody is hearing you. You end up going out and go and cry out there so that people can know. Because when they go out and look for government jobs, they lie through their teeth to say that they are transforming and everything, and they get jobs. And when they come back, what do? They treat black people like trash. So I actually commend Duncan in terms of the brave stance that he has taken. And I know the repercussions are going to be harsh for him because the companies do not want the truth to come out.
Sure.
Thank you.
Les in Gauteng, thank you. Okay, someone who used to work there, supporting what Duncan is saying. All right, Tsepo, MJ, I can see you. I know you've got views on this. We will try and hear your views on this. Interesting to hear lots of different views. All right, we will continue this conversation. You know the number 086 000 2032. You're with SAFM leading the conversation. 8 o'clock Outsurance will go out of their way to try and save you money on your car insurance. If they can't ask for 500 Rand, SMS out to 38462. Now that's good news.
Independent and impartial. This is SAFM News.
In our top stories, City of Joburg Mayor faces yet another motion of no confidence and doctors to take to the streets over unemployment. Good morning. City of Johannesburg Mayor Mpho Phalatse is expected to face yet another motion of no confidence as the city's council holds its first meeting of the year today. The governing multi-party coalition in Joburg will have a tough task fighting the motion to remove Phalatse after talks broke down between the DA and the Patriotic Alliance. The DA rejected proposals for the Patriotic Alliance to rejoin the multi-party coalition in exchange for them being offered two MMC positions. The DA wants the PA to have one MMC position and a chairperson position of one of the Section 79 committees. PA Deputy President Kenny Kunene says they will vote in support of the motion to remove Phalatse.
On Thursday, indeed, the motion might come, and if that motion comes, we will vote with the ANC bloc and we will vote Mpopalatsi out. We'll vote the DA out of power.
The ANC has accused the DA of harbouring an agenda to divide the governing party with regards to direction the country should take in dealing with energy issues. This follows the DA's march past the ANC headquarters, Lutuli House in Johannesburg yesterday. The DA has blamed the ANC's cadre deployment policy for the country's worsening energy crisis. The convener of the ANC Youth League task team, Notleba Mhlauli, addressed several league members.
What we have seen in the recent weeks is an attack on our national chairperson, comrades, by the very racist DA and very racist media, the Liberals, comrades, who've decided that they want to redirect attention from the Minister of Public Enterprises to the Minister of Minerals. They are, comrades, trying to divide the ANC-led government based on their factional and economic interest, which is the renewables energy lobby, comrades. We are here to say to the DA that we are watching them and that renewable energy lobby is not going to work.
The Health and Allied Workers and Indaba Trade Union will be protesting side by side with unemployed doctors from the South African Medical Association Trade Union today as an act of solidarity. Samatu is holding a protest against unemployment and they will be marching to the National Department of Health in Pretoria. The protest is to highlight the desperate plight of unemployed doctors who are sitting at home and unable to find work. The Health and Allied Workers and Indaba Trade Union General Secretary Lerato Mthunzi says failure by the Health Department to hire doctors is leading to patients' deaths.
We know that as Hayitu, that without our doctors, what it all just means for our clinics and our hospitals is death. We are saying hire our doctors now. We are tired of being accomplices of murder to our patients. We will be taking the stand and going to the Department of Health to say, if doctors are not hired, it's jobs for doctors or death, literally.
Communities of Fort Beaufort in the Eastern Cape have slammed the Amatole District Municipality for disruptive water supply in the area. They are blaming the municipality for failing to maintain bulk water infrastructure. Taps in parts of Fort Beaufort and the surrounding area have been dry for months, forcing people to resort to using untreated water from rivers. Last week, the water supply was again cut off due to vandalized pumps. Residents are demanding a swift response from the municipality.
Our toilets are not functioning. Sometimes children are turned back from school due to unavailability of water. We wash our clothes on the river and share the water with animals. Some of us have skin problems because of unsafe water.
Members of the Umhlaba Yalingana Society Against Crime say they are tired of government's failure to address cross-border crime that involves the theft of motor vehicles that are taken to Mozambique. This follows the torching of a truck allegedly from Mozambique and a tour bus on the R22 on Tuesday. This occurred when angry communities were protesting against this problem. The society's chairperson, Judah Mtetwa, has called on authorities to urgently intervene.
We have a serious problem here. Our cars are stolen and taken to Mozambique, our neighboring country, and there's no action from our government. People of Umkanyagute are fed up. We try to engage the Mozambican government, but we are ignored. Our government is also not taking this seriously. This month alone, more than 25 cars from South Africa were stolen and are in Mozambique. We went to Mozambique and found these cars in Palavista and in Matola, but the Mozambican government wants us to pay in order to get back our cars.
Recapping the top stories, City of Johannesburg Mayor Mpho Phalatse is expected to face yet another motion of no confidence as the city's council holds its first meeting of the year today. For SAFM News, I am Anne Musa.
And thank you. Those were the top stories for this hour. Don't miss out on a possible car insurance saving. SMS out to 38462 for a quote. Outsurance, where you always get something out. With a long list of back-to-school items on your shopping list, you'll be pleased to know that Outsurance would like to try and save you money on your car insurance. If they can't, you can ask for 500 Rand. Claim free with the same insurer for 3 years. Ask for 1,500 Rand instead. SMS out to 38462. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
A very good morning to you. In your SAFM sports headlines, rugby, the Blitz box ready to make things right in Sydney. And we have cricket. South African star Marco Jansen named the ICC Emerging Cricketer of the Year. All this and more just before 8:30.
SAFM. Guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good morning. An urgent update from Quebec. This protesting that we've been telling you about this morning, it has now got even more violent. There's a truck, at least one truck on fire on the M19 at Perseverance. So that M19 is closed. The 75, the Utenay Road, also closed between Dispatch and Quebec in the Joe Slovo area. So both the M19 and the R75 both closed. If you need to get that way, maybe the old Utenay Road is going to be your best option at this stage. But that's protesting has just got a little bit out of hand this morning with a massive truck burning on that section. Joburg side, the Mike 1 stays heavy from Monday through towards Parktown. There's still some pressure in 12R24 routes into Galilees. And if you're driving into Pretoria, Steve Biko coming off Lavender, heading down towards Gizina was really busy. It is just starting to ease up. There's been another crash at the end of the Montpellier Highway at Esquire and Pathlali, so that route stays busy. Heavy pressure going north out of Durban, the N2 towards Gateway, the Mslango Rocks Drive heading up through Sunningdale, and the M4 over Blue Lagoon towards Virginia Airport. It's a full house of heaviness going north from central Durban today. At Cape Town Marine Drive, even though the power's come back on after load shedding, it stays busy down to Dolphin Beach, and it stays heavy into the Lagoon Beach as you come through from Tableview and Milnerton. Rob Byrne, SAFM Traffic.
SAFM Sunrise. A vivid start to your day.
All right, good to be with you this morning. I'm Stephen Krutis, you with SAFM Sunrise. Talking, of course, about Duncan. You heard Duncan phone in this week about how he felt about his company. You've heard from the company, Silza Pumps. They say they've done nothing wrong. David now faces a disciplinary investigation. He's been suspended for phoning in to SAFM. We'll take your views on it, and we'll take as many as we can. We'll talk a little bit more around car power ships. That seems to be coming back. And then, of course, we'll talk about the theatre. That's coming up from 8:30.
Across South Africa, online and on radio. SAFM, let's talk.
All right, so the issue of Duncan, who phoned in earlier this week, said that he made a claim against the company. He said that the company was treating black people and white people differently. Then he was suspended for calling in. He confirmed that to us. And now you've heard from the head of HR at Silza Pumps. She's denied that the company pays white people and black people differently for doing the same work. Also says Duncan's been suspended in line with their policies for making defamatory comments about the company. Tembi in Mpumalanga, where do you stand on this, Tembi?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So they told us that I've had the HR manager telling us that what Duncan has said it's false accusation. So I'm working at that company, and I believe it's true.
Really?
Yes, Duncan has proof. So one of the white guys showed Duncan their payslip, and then it's not similar to ours. They earn more than us.
And was the white guy doing the same work?
Yes, they were doing the same work.
Exactly the same work?
Exactly the same work.
Wow.
But their rate is different than us.
Sure. How much more did they earn?
It's treatment, it's work. It's treatment, it's salary. So it's what can I say? They are racist.
Okay, Tembi, sure. We know Duncan was suspended for phoning us, so you're not worried about being suspended to you as well?
I'm worried about being suspended because they are failing us. When they were supposed to they were supposed to fix the situation rather than suspending Duncan or speaking out and voicing out. And is it wrong for Duncan to ask or to talk about how the black people are being treated? But then they decided to suspend Duncan because he exposed them. That's not fair.
All right. Tembi in Mpumalanga, thank you. I wonder what's going to happen now. If Duncan's been suspended for basically saying what you've said, I wonder if the same thing's going to happen. Very interesting to see how this is going to play out. And there's a lot to it. MJ in Joburg South, hi.
Stephen, how are you?
Yeah, I'm well. Go for it.
I'm good. You know what? Quick one, man. You know, that lady from HR, from where the company that suspended Duncan, you know, she was so dodgy when you tried to press it. And I think you should have pressed her more about, I mean, she considered that there was an investigation, which points to the fact that there are deep problems in the company. But when we ask her about what were the findings of that investigation that was carried by the same company, she couldn't even say anything. I mean, I would have expected her to say, these are the findings the company found A and Z of the things that investigated, and this is what the company is doing to undertake. So I think really she dodged the outcomes of the investigation, because I mean, you can't carry an investigation in the company and there are no findings at the end of the day.
She did say that one of the problems was pay transparency. I don't know if that helps at all.
That's one. I mean, you can't carry. I don't think the investigation will come with one and say identify. I think there could have been a range of issues that they found out.
Yeah.
And hard luck for Duncan. But I think other employees that have called, and these are people who are risking their lives. It shows that there's a lot of problems in that company.
It seems so. All right, MJ in Joburg South, thank you. Look, I mean, I say it seems so. I'm not in the company. I don't know. The HR person, Zakiswa, says that they fixed it. I know it can take a long time to fix a culture in a company. Stimbiso in Mpumalanga, hi.
Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Yeah, well, go for it.
Stephen, you see, just because the head of HR said that it's not true, it doesn't mean it's not true.
Yeah.
He's doing this to protect the image of the company. Duncan said that he have all the proof. He have seen this thing. It's happening. The private company will deal with you when you want to expose them. They will deal with you harshly. And I'm very proud of Duncan. He's a hero, in fact, Stephen, because he's been able to come out with this thing as a hero. And we know when in the fight of freedom, most people died. Most black people have died, and their blood are the ones that gave us the freedom that we have. Even Duncan can be dismissed now. But what he fight for will remain, and the truth, the thing, the transformation, because Duncan is fighting for transformation, and we know there's no transformation. Private sector, government is failing us because he let the private sector to do whatever they want to do. When it comes to the Employment Equity Committee, the Employment Equity Committee, this thing is being raised there. If we can ask the HR, what is it that is being discussed in the Employment Equity Committee, we'll find that the Employment Equity Committee is dominated by the white people, and the blacks are very few, and this thing is being raised there, but nothing has been resolved. I trust Duncan, and it's true, whatever he raised is true.
All right, Stimbiso, no, I hear you. Okay, look, I mean, strong views, lots of different directions. And Stimbiso, I'm not surprised to hear your view. I'm sure you're not alone in thinking that he's a hero. David in Uppington, do you see Duncan as a hero?
Stephen, to an extent, yes, Duncan is sort of bringing something to life. Stephen, if you remember, when a doctor from a hospital in Gauteng raised the unbearable situations within the hospital.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
The whole South Africa stood up and applauded that doctor because he was raising things that people were experiencing.
Because children were dying,
Now Duncan is raising something, Stephen, that we are experiencing in South Africa, whereby people of white color are treated more with respect and dignity compared to the so-called black and so-called colored people. And that is a fact, Stephen. It's something that we can't run from. I've listened to the lady. The lady, I concur with the last speaker that said that the lady is protecting the interests of the company. That is the nature of private companies. But the defense of the matter, Stephen, is that Duncan was raising something that all people that are finding themselves in that space were afraid to raise. And I'm very much happy, and I applaud Duncan for doing that. And I think this should be a wake-up call for government and private sector, because it can't be that people are working the very same, they are doing the very same job, but earning different salaries. And some of the worst part of it, Stephen, is that some of us will be having 20 years of experience. And a white person will come in, and then you will be the mentor and the teacher of that white person, just only to find out after 2 years, he's now your boss. He's now managing you, but still, he's in a learning process of not understanding the things of the company, and you are again expected to help that person whilst he's in a senior position, earning a lot of money.
Yeah, no, sure. All right. No, David in Uppington, thank you. We've heard you, as I say. I think a lot of people are going to see Duncan as a hero. There are lots of different ways to go on this one. You heard Nkwado earlier saying he doesn't think so. He thinks that you shouldn't just talk out about your company. It gets to the heart, I think, of the dynamics within our society, and that will be reflected absolutely in the workplace. 086 000 2032 19 after 8.
What Duncan has said is what a lot of experience. Even a friend of mine has resigned because they gave the position to a white guy. A white guy who was a subordinate to him, a white guy that he taught the job, but then that guy was parachuted to a position above him. You do not touch what people in studios in the private sector. You will get burnt, chief. And you know what? I've said this before, and I'll keep on saying it. Instead of ANC being the one who was supposed to address this issue, they have just emboldened these private companies to do as they please. Because why? They have this mentality that, no, we keep South Africa afloat with our tax money, as if others are not paying tax. So I'm telling you now, what Duncan has said, let's leave company policies alone. It is the gospel truth what Duncan is saying. A lot of us know it, and a lot of us experience it. But again, we do not have a government who has the guts to take on these private sectors, because they are being threatened that we'll take our person somewhere else. Can I just raise one point also? Like the I don't know if you know the farmer of in the Western Cape who paid his workers between 6 rand and 10 rand a day.
I didn't know.
Yeah, there was a white farmer there who paid his workers between 6 rand and 10 rand a day. You know what the white electorate said? They said it's better than receiving nothing. So even if I can pay my workers less than the minimum wage or far less, they should not complain because they had nothing, according to them,
All right, KG, thank you. In Coffee Fontaine. Abajo in Swane, hi.
How are you doing?
I'm well, go for it.
Yeah, Stephen, I think one day we should have a mediated conversation on fly finance, because
Bajo, just start again. We can hardly hear you. We should have.
I'm saying